The single market is the most powerful tool that we have in Europe to stimulate growth and to create a competitive European economy. And the only way that we can do that is by trying to get rid of some of the major barriers that still exist.
We were able to create a single market in physical meaning in the European Union already more than 25 years ago. And with digital, we saw how those barriers we were able to tear down, separating our member states, they came back in digital meaning. And the cost of non-digital Europe was huge, according to analysis prepared by the European Parliament, even 415 billion euros a year. So fragmentation is a real headache, or was a real headache for us.
So there are a few things that challenge us. One is that balance between how much privacy and integrity and regulation we have versus the innovation that we want to enable. Over-regulation, it sort of has a potential to prevent innovation from happening, so that's certainly not a good thing. Another one is that it's sort of, there's a spirit of entrepreneurship that's possibly missing here in Europe in a certain way, because we don't have that type of investment that goes into the right sectors, both from a public sector and from a private sector. So that is something that certainly needs to be enabled or needs to be done in a much more effective way.
The whole question about digital skills is a really important one. We reckon that throughout the economy, every year there is a shortfall of 150,000 IT-trained people who everybody across the economy needs to have as skilled workers. One of the big problems we face is that 99% of retailers and wholesalers are SMEs, and indeed 90% of them have less than 10 employees. Yet they have to go online, they have to get those skills, they can't afford to pay for them, and they don't have the skills themselves. So what we really want to see is that the European Commission, in this new approach to Digital Europe, helps some of the smaller companies get those skills, get perhaps 6 months of advice from an IT specialist on how to set up a website, how to use it, and how to run an online business as well.
The single market strategy on digitalisation and Digital Europe sometimes presents digitalisation as an end in itself. And as I said, we would like to shape it. And that means it should be more clearly linked with actual achievement of outcomes. So we had an example in the panel debate around the collaborative economy, platform workers, and there you could see a reluctance to regulate, to protect workers and platform economies, fearing that it might stifle innovation, or some of the arguments we heard today. We would say no. This is a prerequisite to enable actually to adapt to digitalisation. You need to make sure that you have the right protections, not just for workers in terms of salaries, but also that this wealth is going to be shared in terms of taxation or into the social security system. And if you just let it develop, then we won't be able to regulate it later.
We're talking about Digital Services Act, but what is behind, what is the aim of Digital Services Act? We don't know so much about this. If some people think that we have to put full editorial responsibilities on all our platforms, 7,000 European platforms, then we can easily kill our innovative industries. If the aim is to harmonize those rules across the European Union, to protect limited liability principle according to e-commerce directive, to protect country of origin principle, then I will fully support this Digital Services Act. If the aim is to put full editorial responsibilities on platforms, then I can't agree with this proposal. What will happen next? Sorry to say, but we don't know yet. When we will get a new European Commission, it's unclear what kind of direction new Commission will take. We don't know yet.